There we go. We should be reconnected. Everybody say hi. There we go. We got 2 people watching. Okay. Just going to work on this just a little bit. I want to get you guys a really good view of everything. There. I should give us a view of this one and there. And then this one over there. We're going to paint two at the same time. Okay, first of all, shout out to a bunch of my fans, the people that are always joining me. You know who you are. Okay, it's nice to see Renee on there. Thank you for joining. All right, we're going to end up doing a floating island painting. So we're going to start, of course, with the clouds. First of all, I need to know, can everybody end up hearing me okay? Is the headset working? Nobody's answering? Okay, we may need to turn this off. Let's see here. You can hear me. All right, is the sound quality good or is it overpowering? Guess we'll give somebody something to look at while we're waiting. It's good. Great. Okay. This session is brought to you, of course, by iMagi, Kingdom of Thor card game, and the iMagi novels, and the iMagi pendants, and basically everything that I create, including all of my limited edition prints and my novels. Isn't that great? Everything gets to be brought to you by me. All right, now let's get to the painting. Enough of the stupid commercial stuff. Let's get on with the fun stuff. All right, so any of you that are just joining that have never ended up watching me paint before, you are in for a treat because it is going to be a mad dash all the way, start to finish. We don't even stop to breathe, to eat, or even pee. We're just going to start putting some clouds in. First thing we want to do is just put in a couple of little squiggles, and you're going to see this will end up turning into clouds very quickly and super easy. Because what do I use? I use makeup brushes. So let's start making some of these into some clouds. And I hope that the individual this painting is for is actually watching. Okay. Okay. First thing we're going to do is just put a little bit of background in there. The more we use this brush, the more we can spread this paint around, really soften it up. And we're going to have a very large cloud bank on this one. We're not going to go with some of those little flitty clouds that I've done in some spots. This is going to be heavy, heavy, heavy. And in a lot of cases, it's going to be very dark. So the first thing we're doing is just getting it out, and then we need to soften it with another makeup brush. And this is going to give me some of that forward edge of the clouds. And it's going to give me a little bit of striation. I'm going to play around with wherever the brush ends up taking me. These are never planned out. I'm at a spot in my career where I don't really have to plan out the painting. I just get to go, go, go. Okay, any of you that are just joining, I would like you to introduce yourself, say hello. I always like to talk to the people that are out there that are friends of mine. You'll find out I don't have fans, I have friends. And I really prefer it that way. There is one artist, particularly in question, who warned me long ago. He said, hey, you don't want to get too close to your fans. In fact, you need to separate yourself. I found that to be a very stupid thing to say, but he said it anyway. And it's a good thing I don't listen to people like that. Because all the people that I get to spend time with at the conventions that end up seeing me paint, that buy my card game, buy my novels, speaking of which, go to buymynovels.com. There you go. They all become my friends, and I really prefer it when I can go to a place, sit down, hang out with them, have a meal. That's one of the things that really drove me nuts about that last time at RadCon, is the people that I expected to sit down and have a meal with me didn't. That was pretty hurtful. Let's use this brush to soften some things up. It's a little different from the other one. It's very dry. We want to keep it that way. We're not going to worry about anything that is going off above our cloud line. We're going to use that later on. If we want to push a little harder, we can soften up the back of the clouds. And we're starting to get some form and function in here. That's the way that we want it. So I am Sean Nathan Ricks. I am the creator of the iMagi Kingdom of Thor card game. I'm also the individual that created the iMagi novel and The Man Who Would Be Time, and I'm currently working on the follow-up novel to iMagi, I Mystic. That will be coming out this year as well. 3 novels in 1 year. Takes an amazing amount of work to get it to that point, but it's a little easy for me because, well, I don't sleep. At least not much. And we're starting to get the clouds the way we want them. We get a little bit of layering to the clouds, so we have a couple going back and forth. But this is just the boring part, by the way. This is just the white. Wait till we pull in the color. When we start pulling in color, that's when things get really exciting with the clouds. Okay, shout out there, everybody who is a fan and a friend and has been at a convention with me. I want you guys to raise your hand, say hello. I know Renee has. Emily is probably on there as well. Hey, Emily. I had to find my headphones so the kids don't hear you. Oh, right, because the kids would end up insisting on watching me paint. Who is that son of yours that I'm going to end up giving an art lesson to the next time we're in Pasco? Okay, hello. That's right. Renee is awesome. Everybody who loves Renee, raise your hand. There's my hand. See? Hi, Renee. Okay. Now, that's just what we're going to do here. We've still got this entire area over here to play with, but let's put a little bit of some and yes, sir, to Mama Magma Funhouse. I almost said Mama. All right. Let's put some color in, guys. Let's get this thing so it's a little more exciting, because right now it's kind of dull. We're going to mix up an interesting color with a lot of red, a little yellow, and a little peach in it. And we're just going to dab it in different spots, and then watch what happens when you come through with your makeup brush. It's going to do us all of the work for us. We're getting a little bit of color in there. These are just the 4 clouds, the ones that clear back there. Not the foreground, the background. We don't worry too much if it starts to separate. We kind of want that happening. We'll soften it up a little bit with one of these. It's going to pull some paint in different areas. We like to get that feel of the paint pulling, because if it does pull, it starts to give us different cloud formations, and I'll just paint off of those cloud formations. So now what we've got is really just a base. We're going to let that dry. We're going to move over to here. We're going to pull in some clouds over here. All right, the individual of this painting is Thor, who commissioned it. I really want to know if you're listening. I'm not even going to shout out your name. Let's see if you're listening out there, huh? All right, I'll give you a hint on his name. Starts with a T and it ends in an R. Let's see if you're listening. Okay. Now, we go back to this brush. Let's see, can we see what we're doing here? And we have to push on this really fast because it will dry up quick on us. We can't let it dry that fast. Pull some of it down this way. And as you can see, let's get down here and we'll just bring it down like the clouds are just getting swished away by the wind down there. Okay. Myron, yeah, Myron's the one that I'm going to end up teaching to paint a little bit. We'll do a cloud painting, maybe teach him. Let's get back over here. Maybe we'll end up teaching him how to do moons as well. Probably not a full moon, because, you know, that would be bad as far as you, his mom, is concerned. Although, hilarious from my standpoint. Okay. All right, we've done a really good job of bringing those clouds in there, out on this side. Now we're going to start working on this a little bit more. We're going to bring in a little bit more white. So we'll just pull some white along our forward edge, pull it out. Our clouds have a little bump here and there that goes out. Okay, we can't go along the entire forward edge because this kind of paint will dry on you very fast. We're going to move to a smaller makeup brush, and we're just going to pull the back edge of it. We want to leave the fore edge kind of alone, and our clouds are going to start to get a little more opaque in there. We don't worry about that too much because the next brushes we move with are going to pull the paint a little bit apart. They're going to separate it. So this is great. It's working fantastic. Look at that. Love the way it's working. All right, let's switch to another brush real quick. We'll go back to this one. And we're going to go really lightly now because we've got a lot of paint in there. We don't have to pull as much. Pull a little bit out in here, just kind of fuzz it out so the wind really grabs it quite a bit. Okay, and we're still rather boring because we haven't pulled in a lot of color. We got to grab some of that color and start bringing it in. I got the Bee Gees playing in the background. All right, here we go. Now, we're going to pull in some color. We do still want a little more white in some of these areas. The white's going to end up mixing for us. We'll put that there and there. And then we want some really brilliant red in certain spots. A little darker red. We're going to go ahead and pull in some burnt sienna, some raw sienna in certain spots. And then we'll put a little yellow in these spots. Now, it looks like a mess until you end up pulling in the brushes that do all your work for you. So now we'll just kind of pull this through. And I don't really care if it looks like it's going to become overpowering because I can always come in over top of it and spread it out a little bit more and play with the paint. I can do some clockwise and some counterclockwise rotations. And then pull the paint into different areas. And I'm really going to push on the paint very hard right now. As I push on it, it gives me the opportunity to pull it into different places. And whatever I've got left, I'm going to just kind of spread through these clouds real quick in some clockwise and counterclockwise motions. Now, the fun thing is some people will start seeing what kind of clouds they want to see out of it. Some people like these kind of faint clouds. Some people like the heavy ones. You can't really fall in love with them right now, guys, because they're going to go all over the place. They are going to change at the drop of a hat for you, just as I pull in a little more white in these areas. And I can use this brush to do some of the intricate work real quick. Then pull it down through there. All right, what I'd like to hear from any of you guys out there, I can see that Magma Funhouse, whatever works for you, right? That's right, whatever works for you. We're going to take this edge makeup brush. We're going to do varying stages of pushing hard and lightly. Do a little counterclockwise and clockwise, counterclockwise. All I do all day long is speak for a living. Let's see. Let's go ahead and hit that. Okay. I'm pulling some of that paint off of the blue. And then I'm going to put some of the leftover over here. It'll be something we work off of in a minute. Okay. We'll get that one a little wet and get it off to the side. Then we're going to come in with this softening brush and just start making everything nice, pretty, and soft. We can work in a variety of different angles on this one. Hey, the chat's really lonely right now, guys. I really want to see some comments in there. Okay. As I'm painting through this, if any of you guys that are watching are artists yourselves, I want you to shout out ways that my fan base can find you. I know that there are a lot of people out there that will not end up wanting you to advertise on their page. I want you to. I like that. I want to darken that up. That was a little bit too yellow and too many spots there. Admiring the clouds. Thank you, Renee. Just wait. Now we're going to come over here and we're going to start working on these a little. All right. We're going to grab some more white. Pick out some really heavy spots. Maybe make a little one that crosses over. Pull that down. Let's add some burnt sienna in there. And then get some other colors in. Okay. Back over to what brush? This brush. Why? Because we can. Okay. So Tyler, the guy that I'm painting it for, yeah, that's right, I outed him. He has not chimed in to let me know if he's watching right now. It's always a little more fun if the person that I'm painting the painting for ends up shouting out, hey, yeah, I love it. Okay. While we're at it, why doesn't everybody sneak on over to buymynovels.com? That's B-U-Y, buymynovels.com. You know what? We are not. Can I paint you? I have painted plenty of portraits. Depends on what you look like. That was not meant to be insulting. It was meant to be funny. If you ask me to paint you like one of my French girls, we might have a problem. Because first of all, I didn't like that movie anyway. Okay. We'll get a little bit wet so we can pick up some of this. You can see that if it's wet, I can pick the paint up and move it a little. Why is this thing insisting on not giving me down here? I really want to get to the bottom down here. Hey, my French girl printing got a sections for every art show. Can you paint Mickey Mouse? I can paint Mickey Mouse, but I don't like the mouse. The mouse is mean to artists. So the answer is, can I? Yes. The answer is, will I? No. Now, maybe I would paint Mickey Mouse in some kind of a very odd, weird thing, like maybe a post-apocalyptic Mickey Mouse. We're going to try and get this. Ruby is in the house. Ruby. Hello, Ruby. Paint is amazing. Thank you. I appreciate that. So it sounds like I got Ruby on here. I probably have Simone on here. I've got Emily, and I have Renee. You know what? I've got all of my favorite gals. You know, you guys want to know a secret? I'm in love with every single one of them. It's true. Yeah, it's not much of a secret, is it? All right, so we're doing really well with our clouds. We're going to add a little bit of yellow to our forefront here, and we're going to clean this up here while this over here is drying. All right, we've got 13 people joining us right now, 12 people. Sorry, one dropped off. And that means that we will take just a small break and we will tell you guys that I am the author of iMagi and the man who would be time. And I am the creator of the iMagi Kingdom of Thor card game. Oh, it's kind of upside down. There you go. So you guys can find all kinds of stuff about that if you go to buymynovels.com. That's B-U-Y, mynovels.com. Let's get back to painting. Add a little bit of white in some foreground areas here. I'm going to grab some peach, put a little more peach here, and then I always like to call that color peach cobbler. Let's grab that, and then a little more white up here. Let's go ahead and grab those along that entire front line. Now, I'm going to have to clean this one. This one's been sitting in the drink too much. By the way, anybody who's ever painted, do not ever, ever, ever end up putting your paint water right next to something you're going to drink. See, we've got a list of comments here. Add birds. Well, we probably will add birds. I mean, I can do that, which is hilarious because there is one painting I've done that's in the card game called 3 Goals. And I tell people to look like crazy for the 3rd goal. It's not in there. That's why it's called 3 Goals. It's hilarious. It's my little joke on people. Some of you actually have that card and have probably looked for the 3rd goal, and you can't find it. Now you know the secret. It's not there. Okay, those clouds are nice. They're separating a little bit. Let's start adding a little bit of forefront to it. Simone used to do Russian roulette with paint cups whenever she had a drinking cup at her desk. Ha, that's hilarious. You know, I don't know why this thing is insisting on dropping instead of holding up here where you can see the bottom of it. And Facebook. What about Facebook? So we've got, look at that. It keeps on falling. What the heck is the deal here? Let's see if we can fix this. Maybe it's that one. Oh, you know what? I found out which one was loose. Look at that. Now it's going to work. Okay, let's see. Can we get everything here? We can get everything. All right, that's much better. Let's work on adding something right on the front of these clouds over here. There's 10 people watching us. That's right, 10. If it becomes 11, oh no, it's become 11. Now I have to take my shoes off just to count that high. All right. You know, the other day we had an awful lot of fun as Ruby and, let's see, Ruby was listening, but Simone was getting picked on by Emily and I. And it was a riot. And then I tried to call Simone after, and she wouldn't take my call. That didn't really make you mad, did I, Simone? I wouldn't have made you mad. You enjoyed every second of it, right? All right, here we go. Okay, that gives us nice forefront to those clouds, and let's make a little bit. Let's just back here. We'll grab some of that white and just kind of make some faint ones out here. All right, let's see here. Okay, goes to auction. I did not ignore your phone call. I was asleep, I swear. Sure, Simone. Sure. You know who would have taken my phone call? Shad and Emily. Yeah, that's right. They love me more. Yep, it's true. They love me more than you. Or they love me more than you did. You know what? Either one's probably true, right? Let's go with it. Emily, we want a ruling on the field on that one. So I'm going to get myself in so much trouble with Simone. This is great. Hey, any of you other guys that are brand new, shout out your first name. You can even misspell it if you don't want to be known too well. Shout out your name, and let's talk to you as well. You know what, Simone, you and I just need to do a go live together. That's what we need to do. Winna QL1P is by. They're going. Okay, thank you. Let's see. She's lying. She doesn't love us anymore. Oh, Oh, I see how it is. I would have picked up even if I had been asleep. You could have called me. I was doing laundry after our trip. Oh, you see what? You know what? Now I'm just going to have to start calling Ruby. It's all right, Ruby. You know you're the secret love of my life. All right, let's get a little bit out here. We're going to make that nice and faded out there. If I tell you, you're not really the secret love of my life, right, Ruby? My voice is not really on point today, guys. The day job sucked it out of me. Working for a software company is great. I love the company that I work for, but my gosh, my voice gets hammered, and then trying to do some of these videos ends up being a little difficult. I mean, last night I sang Sinatra for you guys while I was on here. Tonight I don't think I could do that. Okay, we're starting to get some. Let's see. Simone is the third wheel. Oh, now we're picking on Simone way too much. Come on, guys. All right, it's funny, but it's a little too much. Simone, I got your back. I got you, homie. All right. Ruby's probably right next to you, isn't she? All right. Okay. Clouds are starting to work really nicely there. I think we'll add a little bit of dark in here. Okay, let's see here. All right. Everybody's having a riot in here. This is what I love about this. Again, Simone, you and I need to do a live together. Let's add a little color there. That way we can join live. We can be painting at the same time. I'm not exactly sure how that works. But that was the worst sentence in the world. My mother, who was an English teacher, would probably slap me with a ruler. I'm not exactly sure how the going live together works or how, if it can do a split screen. That would be pretty cool. I would love it. I think you would love it as well. And then if Emily and Ruby and everyone's in the same room as you, they can start shouting back and forth and we can have a grand old time. Okay, I promised I was going to put some dark in over here, right? Let's see, what do we got for comments? You're driving from the car parts store. I worked on my 1985 GMC long bed pickup, and guess what, guys? I got my speedometer working. I've only been trying to figure that thing out for the last 3 weeks, and you know what the problem was? The factory had switched the sending wire with the power wire, so they had it backwards on the sending unit, and it was sheer accident that I ended up flipping it around. And then it worked, and then I ended up calling them up, and they said, oh, yeah, sometimes the cable that we get is messed up from the manufacturing facility, and you have to flip it around. Well, gee, don't you think you ought to put that in some documentation or some help pages somewhere? I've been working on the wiring on that truck for ages. It has been a gigantic pain in the rear. Okay. All right, now we still have 7 people on here. That's awesome. All right, Happy Pink, thank you. All right, thanks for joining, Happy Pink. All right. You know, I really want that pull a little bit more. I'm going to put some highlights on that. I really like the way it looks. Just put a little yellow highlight in there. Not too much, just enough to kind of make it pop just a little. Maybe a little bit more. Let's mix some titanium white with a little bit of my peach cobbler. There, that's going to work really well. Let's pull that through now. Oh, yeah. I do believe that my buddy Tyler, who commissioned this, I think he's a dentist. So people get to watch this or look at the painting as their teeth are being pulled. How exciting is that? People are in pain watching my art. So, I'm not the only one that has to suffer for my art. I'm sure he uses plenty of Novocaine. Wouldn't want to disparage him too much. He is paying for a painting, after all. All right, got to pull all of the brushes out of the drink. Okay, here we go. Let's see. We wanted to put dark in there. I promised I'd get to some dark. Let's put it in. Let's just bring some of this along the back edge, okay? Maybe a little bit right there. And let's just mix it forward. All right. Okay, those look pretty good there. Let's move over to these clouds and have some more fun, shall we? Now, you guys know I love taking and putting a giant dark area over in this corner, so it just kind of brings everything going across the canvas this way. There's 13 people watching right now. That is awesome. Thank you all 13. Hey, drop something in the comments and say hello, hello. All right, now let's get a color from over here. You guys want to see what? You can't see all the colors. You know what? You're just going to have to wait. We're going to grab some purple. We're going to grab some black. I know everybody says don't use black, but we're going to use a little black anyway. And then we're going to grab some blue. That's right. Someone say that really well. Phthalocyanine blue. I like it better the way I said it. Okay. We'll put the blue goes in for the mixing. Then we're going to throw in some of the purple real quick. I have to tell you guys what's going on because it's clear over here. And then we're going to take some of that permanent black, just a little bit, just enough to give us a taste of that premeditated murder. That's what black's for. All right. Oh, speaking of that, Rose, when are we going to hide that body in the woods underneath a happy little tree? All right. I'm just kidding, everyone. That's a joke. We don't have anything like that going on. If we did, we wouldn't tell you. Let's mix this up, get some red in it. And guys, watch this. We're just going to grab and go. Yeah, that's right. You have to make the sound with it as well. Now, it may look like it's not going to fit, but hold my beer and watch this. By the way, I decided that the title of this painting series to follow up the Spite and Malice series that I did. All of my fans that are out there that know about the Spite and Malice, this series is called Denial. I'm not having fun because I'm going with the different 5 stages of grief. So I've already had anger, the Spite and Malice. I'm not having fun at all. See, I'm denying it. I am having fun, but don't tell anyone. It ruins the entire look that I'm going for. Tortured artist. Oh dear. What in the world can we do with a tortured artist? Probably hang them outside to dry. Okay, we're going to leave that, and we're going to come back over to this section right here. Okay, we want to add some white first of all, because we're going to bump up our foreline. This forward line of the clouds, maybe some up through here, a little trail of it. And then we're going to get a few other colors in there. We'll get some of that, there. Maybe a little bit of our peach cobbler. That's right, I'm still going to call it peach cobbler. And then we're going to get a lot of yellow right there, and there. Now, watch what happens when we use this brush. Starts to pull our entire painting and clouds together. Maybe get over there so you guys can actually see it. We'll blend out into some of this darker paint, pull some of it in, pull some of that dark paint in, and then get this mixed really well right through here. Yeah, I like the way that it's just making the clouds for me. Right along that little edge there. We're going to get some in there. Now, if it looks like it's a little overpowering, that's where this brush comes in. It comes in and it is kind of the hero of the entire story. This brush, much like Bjorn and Garn in iMagi, the novel, which you can find at buymynovels.com. You like that transition? Smooth, huh? This is the hero of the entire story and how it moves through. Now, some of you missed a great opportunity on Facebook to get one of these paintings at only $50, because that was the Spite and Malice series. The story behind the Spite and Malice series is there was an old fart artist who tried to tell me that I could not paint any of the clouds and floating islands because they belonged to him. They were his abode. He called me a no-talent bum artist, said that most of the stuff that I did was AI, because I don't know if you can tell, this is not exactly AI, unless I'm artificial intelligence, which if that were the case, we'd all be in a lot of trouble, because if I were artificial intelligence, that would rule the world. Or at least my little corner of it. Clearly I can't do that, because as far as ruling the world, pretty sure one of the ex-wives already got that. I get a little corner of it. She gets the rest of the world in the divorce. Thank goodness that's already done. Okay. All right, now we can start adding some details in here that are really fun. Howdy pards, Blaine's here. Hey Blaine, what's going on, man? Frosted pygmy goat. Frosted pygmy goat? That sounds like Julie. Frosted pygmy goat. I have a really amazing author friend. She is That Werewolf author, and her name is Julie Frost. You should look her up. I believe I have at least one of her paintings, or two of her, or not paintings, one of her novels that is for sale on buymynovels.com. It'll take you straight to her page. So if you are looking for werewolves, she's the gal. She's got it down. She is the most amazing werewolf author that there is. There is nobody else that compares, mainly because most of her werewolves, they are really badass biker dudes. Yeah, and they're the hero. They're trying to do good. I believe that somewhere along the line, she chases them up trees, makes them stay up there for the entire first act, tortures them by throwing stuff at them, and then in the third act, she probably chops down the tree and lets them out. Okay, here we go. This one's dry. We're going to soften up the entire sky with a dry brush. And you can see how it just softens everything. Any of the paint that is wet, it's drying it and softening it at the exact same time. This is why I end up using the makeup brushes so much. Does a great job on there. Yeah, I like the way that works. I haven't done anything down here. Shall we define this? Can I tell you something we all should know? Frosted pygmy goat, go ahead. Tell me something we should all know. We need to. There. Gonna have to pick that book up soon as I'm finished with the series that you're on. Well, yeah, Ruby. Come on. I'm gonna start feeling like you don't love me anymore. Yeah, let's do something right down here. All right. Let's see. Just bring in some white. Bring in some red. Get some yellow on that. And then switch to this brush. And then go to one where it'll soften everything up for us. Okay, I like that. We have something going on down there now. Everybody should be accepted for who they are, even if they have a disability. We're all human and should be treated equally. This sounds great. Hello, hello, Magma Funhouse. Welcome back. Ruby is focusing on being co-pilot while we listen. Well, co-pilot of what? What are you guys in? Are you flying somewhere? Inquiring minds want to know. Emily wants to know. Because if you guys have got pilot's licenses and you've never told Emily, I'm sure she's going to murder one of you. That is a joke. We don't murder anyone on this channel. At least not on the channel. All right, now let's come back down here and add a little more white because we have got to pick out a little more detail. And then while we're at it, let's get a little red. And let's just add some red going out, trailing into there. Okay. Now, if you guys have watched me paint for a while, you know this is not dark enough over here. Not nearly dark enough. Driving in Pasco. All right, let's see. We're going to play the I'm going to guess what you're driving game. I'm saying they're driving a 1972 AMC Gremlin. It's my guess. Let's find out if I'm correct. Okay. Let's get some darker colors in. '76 Rambler. Hey, Blaine, that's a great guess. Blaine, I think you and I remember the Nash Rambler, the one that had the really awful steering box. The only thing it could do is go straight. If you tried to turn, it kept going straight. Lots of power, no steering, which is exciting. Okay. And maybe pull in some of that dark right through here as well. I like that. Let's soften it up. That's really nice and dark. I like that. And we'll soften that and that. The corner up here is not very dark, though. Can we get it a little bit better with what we've got on the brush? It turned on. It's Accord, nothing at all like a Honda. Yeah, she definitely rambles, but not quite. Oh, Simone's coming in with the slam. Hey, Blaine, I think you might know Simone. Well, there's some of the people off in Pasco, Washington, and they've been out to some of the conventions out your way. Let's give our forward line a little bit better here. The definition has kind of gone out. Oh, let's pull it a bit more. All right. Let's get this blended in here. Okay. We're going to leave that, and we'll come in with it later, and we'll put some color on it. I think the problem is I got too ambitious with that and started painting on it a little bit too fast. Okay, we're going to switch over to some of the small makeup brushes. I'm going to gather all 4 of them up, and we're going to move over here. And we're going to define some of this crap here. Okay, got to clean some brushes real quick. That's clean enough. We want to get some titanium white, and we want it to be a little heavier for this for. Definitely get it to a point. Okay. Okay, pulling that in. Now we've got some more defined front edge of our cloud there. And if it ends up getting too white, that's okay. I've decided I'm going to pull a line of light down this direction on it. Let's go ahead and make that a little bit smoother. The clockwise and the counterclockwise motions are going to give you a little more of that softness and that kind of randomness that you want in a cloud. And let's pull some more of it here. Hey Blaine, in the background, I have the A-Team theme playing. Nothing like going back to our childhood, huh, buddy? Couldn't go back to Renee's childhood. She's only 25 and holding. All right, let's get a little bit right there. All right. No happy little trees? You have to wait for them. That's when the floating islands come across here. Then you'll end up getting the happy little trees. Hey, and you over there in the corner, I know it was you that was talking, not you guys. But that guy over there. All right, let's get a little bit of this on this fore end right here too. See, that's called entertainment, or at least I think it's entertaining. I'm entertained. I think I'm funny, and as long as I think I'm funny, it doesn't really matter what you think. I guess it kind of does. I mean, I need the fans, but by the way, if you're not already following, go ahead and follow. Especially if you want to hurl insults, that's the best way to do it, is to follow me. I like the insults. They're kind of fun. Let's move down here. Let's add that and that. Now for the part that's going to scare some of you guys. Are you ready for this? Watch what we do. We're going to take this brush. We're going to pull and get some of this sunlight. We need it really heavy across there. There, we got that one coming. Maybe a little more in some of these other lines. We need to actually put a little bit of white and yellow along right here, or else it won't pull. Maybe get it in all of the spots, and then it'll pull as we go along. That's how you get little rays of sunshine shining through things. That's what my mom used to call me, a little ray of sunshine. All right. I like that. But we need to, if we're going to have a little ray of sunshine, we've got to have something up here. So let's lighten up the corner a little bit. We need a bigger brush. There. Now we're starting to get where we need to go. Just add a little bit, fuzz it out, and then pull it down where it needs to be coming. Now that makes more sense, doesn't it? Without that, it just didn't look right. Okay. Now, what are we going to do down here? We're going to add a little color, but we can't add bright colors down there because this is our dark corner. So what are we going to do? We're going to get a little bit of dark red. We'll just kind of put it right there and there. And then bring out our superhero brush. This is the one that we love using in order to mix our clouds up first. Let's just, yeah, I like that. Pull some broad strokes all the way across. And that gives us a really spectacular pull. All right, and guess what, guys? We just have to darken up this corner, and then we can put the floating island in there. You have a sledgehammer. Does that count? Are you sure it wasn't a little lightning storm? Hee hee. Oh, so we're saying we want to add a lightning storm. Who ended up calling me Picasso? Shadow Band. Cool. Thank you. And your buddy, remember the show Sledgehammer? Yes. Funny, Blaine, I was actually watching that just the other day because there's reruns of it. I remember when it was on live, but yeah. I wanted to add a little definition right through here. All right, let's add some heavy, heavy, heavy darks right up in here. Okay, it's going to give us something that we really want to see. If we have it really dark through here, and bring some of that down through here and maybe a little trail of it there. Pull this brush out and we'll blend it in exactly the way we want it to look. I like this dark, dark, dark end on this side. It gives us some drama. We want to have a little drama going on here. Now remember, guys, the title of this series is I'm not having fun, because remember, we're in the stages of grief. We're in denial right now. I'm not having fun. I'm having fun. We're not having fun. I'm having fun. Okay, we've got a really nice dark cloud going on there. You know what it's missing? I'll tell you what it's missing. It's missing a little bit of lightning. We've got to get the bright brush for that. Oh my gosh, some of these brushes need to be cleaned really badly. That's the right brush, but we've got to bring it to a point. Well, or at least ish to a point. Okay, isn't Daniel a river in Africa? Sure. Okay. Let's give ourselves a little bit of a point where the lightning starts. Okay, we got some lightning going on there. Let's make it a little bit more defined. We're going to have to come on this and add more to it. All right. Then we need to make that lightning have a little bit of a seat. So we're going to pull some of that through there. There we go. Now the lightning has an origin in the clouds. Let's define it just a little bit more in certain spots. We need to make that heavier. Trail out there. Okay, now that's some fun lightning. It's kind of lonely though. Should we give it a friend? Yeah. Hey, when you you guys are a riot. I just read what Simone put in there. Okay. Okay, let's get some lightning coming down. There. Got two lightning bolts going on over there. I like that. Everyone needs a friend. That's true. Hello, J.A. Caster 4612. I do believe that you have been on some of mine before and taken a look. Let's see what everybody's got going on over here. You know what? We could probably put a lightning down here, too. Let's do it. Put some lightning in, and this one's going to be right toward the end of this cloud right there. First of all, we've got to give it a home for where it starts, the point of origin for the lightning. And then yeah. Okay. Let's get some coming off of here. Mm-hmm. There, we've got 3 lightning bolts. Lightning all over the place. Nice and scary stuff. Boom, shake, shake the room. That's right. Thanks, Blaine. I like it. Somebody's got to add the sound effects when I end up getting a little bit too quiet, right? Okay. By the way, guys, we got a little bit of a treat. We have somebody visiting inside the art studio. Hella. Are you going to look at everybody, or are you going to give them the husky side eye? Oh, there you are. Where do you want to go? Where are you going? We're not going to go outside. You have to go to bed right now. Here, go to bed. Go on. We got to do a floating island. We're live here. You know that? That's why we took you out earlier. Yeah, she's cute, isn't she? Everybody likes the puppy. I mean, you notice I don't show my face, but we'll show the puppy's face. There's a reason for that. I've got a mirror. I know what I look like. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. I mean, I could darken that up a little bit, but I think we'll leave it. And now we can put in a floating island. For that, we need a little bit of burnt umber to mix with our other darker colors over here. And then along with that, we need some Payne's Gray because that's, oh, you know what? Wait, before that, we do that, I had a treat for you guys. I'm going to show you something pretty phenomenal. This is transparent burnt umber. I'm going to show you what this stuff does. This is like a miracle right here. Let's get a little bit in a spot where I don't, we got to get some on my palette where I don't have any kind of paint. All right. Let's just choose an area and start putting it in. This transparent burnt umber, it is very transparent, and what it'll do is give us this little feel to some things. We can come in on some of our white areas and just pull it in, and gives us a little bit of depth of color you don't get otherwise. All right, you guys may not be able to see what it's doing, so let's work down here. Let's go a little heavier on it, and we'll pull some across here, and you're like, no, that's too heavy. You think it's too heavy until you end up having it just spread out. Ah, that's a great little tool to add some depth of color to it. Transparent burnt umber. I have to special order that stuff. They don't carry it in any of the places that I like. There we go. All right, maybe a little bit of transparent burnt umber over here as well. We'll just put it right on the brush this time. And then we'll come in and soften it up with this one. It'll make your darks darker. It'll make your lights have this kind of warm tone to it. It's an interesting color for sure. That and my Payne's Gray are two of my favorites. We're going to kind of go over some of the ends of the lightning because it will make it a little, we'll go right over top of it. There we go. All right, I'm happy with that. Maybe a little more down there. Okay, Floating island time, guys. Sorry. I promise. We're getting to it. Here we go. Okay, first things first. I got to find some way of mixing all of this paint in what I've got. Where is that? Okay. Okay, we're about ready to put the floating islands in as soon as this paint is mixed up and appropriately different from the background. Because if I don't have that contrast, it's not going to work, right? We're going to use this brush, this great big brush right here. Different transparent colors. That's right, J.A. Caster, they do, and they're definitely odd. You have to learn how to use them just right, for sure. Okay, we're going to start over here, and we'll put one platform of our island there. Another platform of our island will come through here. Maybe this one's going to end up being mountains when we end up filling it in. And this one is going to kind of go off like that. And then where is our other platform? We kind of want to go in threes this time. The last time I did one, I did it in twos. So let's add one right across this entire area here. Those are just platforms. So what do we do with them? We got to join them together, right? So let's get to doing that. With the same brush, we'll get some different parts of the floating island mixing together and holding the platform there. Great big brush, and we're going to use it as a great big brush. We're going to make a little window there. We'll clean that up a little later. This one's going to come down and across and give us a tail. Everything's sitting on that tail right there. This is just the platform, guys. That's all these are, is just to give us the platform that everything sits on. And we do not want to go over our wonderful lightning that we've got there. All right, now we need to add this platform up there. We're not going to use the large brush up there. We're going to go to a smaller brush. I believe I've got it. I'm going to go to this brush right here. It's going to do a little bit more of our work for us. We've got kind of the same feel going on here. These two are going to connect in a similar way as the other one. And that works because we're basically creating our own interpretation of gravity in places like this. Okay. A couple of little windows to the background. We already start to have some interesting stuff. Okay, now what are we going to do over here? Okay, and look at that. Just like that, we've got 3 platforms to hold it. That'll be a lot of fun. Now, we got to let that stuff set up. It's going to be really nice and tacky for a minute. And so while that's setting up, we can work on getting different areas a lot darker. Okay. all of you that actually own one of my floating islands, I don't think you've ever seen how the platforms go in. So this is a really interesting experience for you. Let's bring this one over into here. We'll just extend it across to there, and we'll make one little thing that holds it there. Then we have a giant window there, and that'll span across the two paintings. And maybe there. I like that. Yeah, let's add that in. Like I said, I don't really plan these things out. I just kind of play with them as they appear on the canvas. Add a little more mountains. Maybe our mountain range gets a little taller in certain areas. Yeah, well, by the time we end up coming in and playing with this, you know what, let's put some mountain range down here too. It feels a little bit flat down here. Let's fix that. Okay, so we'll bring in some of this. All right, like I said, this is just a blocking in. This is just to give us an area where everything sits. I like that one there. Surprise, surprise, I was a big fan of Dr. Seuss's art guy growing up. I know you can't tell, can you? Okay. Now, this guy's lonely up here, right? Let me show you how we fix that. Where's the brush that I need? All right. I'm going to go back to this one. I'm going to dip it in some water. It's got a curve to it, so we're going to try and get that curve kind of brought out a little bit. Natural forming nanotubes. Sure. Less than a 1G planet. Yeah, all right, we'll go with that. Doesn't really matter to me. I mean, if that's what it makes sense to you, let's go with it. Let's bring in some trees. And you guys will notice I use this same tree quite a bit in the paintings. It's part of what my style is, of course. I can do other trees, but it's a fun one to have because you've got all of this horizontal going on. Having the vertical really plays well with it. The last time we had one tree that was all alone, we called it Simone. Yeah, it was the tree that people were making fun of that night, the Simone tree. Today we're going to make another tree. We're going to call this one Blaine. It's going to be a big, tall, proud tree. This is the Blaine tree. It's going to be very big. It's going to stretch all the way down here. We're going to need to get a lot of paint for the Blaine tree. It's going to be the king of trees, Blaine. In case some of you guys don't know, Blaine is a genius when it comes to concrete. He can do concrete form in just about anything. He's got a secret little approach to it. And what it does is it means that he can make these really spectacular things in people's yards, like natural formations for having any kind of fountains or pools. He's brilliant with it. So if you guys are ever up in the Montana areas, not too far away from Missoula, and you want to add to part of your house or your backyard or something, then you want to have Blaine come and do all of your concrete work. We've got to add a little bit here. It's got to be a foundation to hold that much weight. Maybe a little bit more than that. Okay, Blaine, if you're still on, drop an advertisement about your business or your services, okay? And in case you guys don't already know, any of you that are artists, I want you to drop your advertisements in the comments as well. Use my platform to help advertise for you. I'm one of the few people that likes it when people do that. I want everybody to succeed, really. Even the jackass old fart who ended up putting me back on the painting track anyway. You know, guy that told me, you don't get to paint those, they're mine. Yeah, we've seen how well that works. I really need to thank him. I need to send him some kind of a commission or something because he got me back onto the track. One of the fastest ways to make me do anything is to tell me I can't do it or that I'm not allowed to do it. Yeah, it immediately just makes me want to do it. So let's, there. I like that. There's the Blaine tree. Got to make her smaller this time. Oh, well, let's put a tree right over here or a couple of trees right over here. Let's make one right here. Generally, by the way, guys, all of my paintings will have an odd number of trees. So when I'm doing a two-piece, it may be even on one side, but it's going to be odd overall. Okay, we've got a nice tree there, and we need to add two more. Let's add a few more right through here. And maybe a little one right here. Are we making this tree the Simone tree because it's short and it can't see the top of the other trees? That's right, Simone, I said that. Okay, we'll just put some of our extra paint in here. All right, now, this is very important. While this stuff looks all black to you guys, it's not really black. You can't handle it. I can't handle what? You couldn't possibly send me about 10K to clear my debt. Tech 4. You're not allowed to be successful. Yeah, that's right. Tech 4, I'm not sure I can send you the 10K to take care of your debt. Sorry, man. I mean, I'm generous and I'm fun, but I'm not that generous and fun. Maybe Simone is. Simone, you want to send Tech 4 10K to handle his debt? You're like Miss Moneybags, right? Okay, let's get the rest of this all darkened up here. Okay, that's good. We're using the makeup brush to spread this stuff out this time so it'll go over nice. Okay. Hey, anybody who is new that showed up, go take a look at my website, buymynovels.com. I'm the author of iMagi, Kingdom of Thor card game. I'm also the author of iMagi, the novel, and The Man Who Would Be Time. And I end up using every single one of my paintings in the card game. You have an opportunity to get original paintings if you commission them, which I'm backed up like crazy right now, so you can't commission anything for like 6 months. Unless your name is Blaine. Blaine, I'd push you ahead. I've already got Justin. Justin, I got to get yours done. There's 2 paintings I need to do for Justin. They're going to be dragons curled around in front of clouds. So I've had people tell me I don't get to paint dragons too. Yeah, it's crazy. You're not allowed to be successful and you're not allowed to have fun. Well, this is mandatory fun. Okay, we need one more tree, don't we? Because we've got a total of 4 trees and we need an odd number of trees. Okay, hang on one second, guys. The dog needs to go out. Stay right there, all 8 of you. Hang on just a second here. Come on. You guys can probably still hear me because I'm on my headset. So you should really stick around. Don't go anywhere because the real fun's about to start. We've only got everything blocked in right now. And the very sweet puppy dog named Hella is coming back in. She's good, and we're going to get back to painting. If I get back and there's not 8 people there, I'm going to be so disappointed in you all. There's 9 people. Hey, that's even better than 8. I'll take it. Okay, let's get back to painting. All right, so I can count. Let's see, that's 1, 2, 3, 9. All right, I like it. Okay, we're going to get to the point where we play with the mountains real quick, guys. To do that, I need to mix up. I have to decide, do I want to make the mountains kind of a gray tone? The last time I did a warm tone, I'm going to go with a gray tone because I want them to really jump apart from the background. So we're going to get the same color that I've got all dark, and we will mix it with some titanium white and then a little bit of sky blue. And our sky blue, let's see, we're almost done mixing it. Stick around, the mountains are going to form right in front of you. Okay, let's get to it. Where's that little brush that I want? Where's it hiding? I hate losing brushes. It's like they just jump into the same place that 10mm wrenches go. Okay. Hey, Blaine, if you're still listening, how many 10mm wrenches have you lost in your life? In fact, that's going to be a question that's opened up for the entire group. How many 10mm wrenches have you guys lost? 10mm wrenches, 10mm sockets, the whole bit. Tell me if you, because if you're that one person on Earth that hasn't lost any, you're the person that's stealing it from all of the rest of us. We now know where it is. We demand to know your name. We're hunting you down. Okay, we've got certain aspects of the mountains there. That's looking good. We're going to go back over top of that in a minute. Okay, mountains are starting to pop out. We need that really, really soft brush of mine, the little teeny one. Got to find out where in the world it's hiding. It disappeared. They have a habit of doing that. All right. We're going to mix a lighter color of gray, and we're going to bring those mountains to life. Because the layering that we do, man, my hand is completely wet from that mixing water. And here we go. We really need a lot more light color right there to get that to pop out from the background. Okay, that's working. Mountains are certainly popping out. Well, I know apocryphal, at least 10 sockets and 4 wrenches of the 10mm variety in the lake by our dock. Yeah, those are always the fun things. Hey, I found the brush I was looking for. Look at that. That's always the best time when you're working on something like that. Oh, we have mountains down here. We almost forgot those. Okay, sorry. Let's see. Awesome to watch live. Thank you, Ruth Ann. Ruth Ann lives not too far away from me. And something you guys all want to know about Ruth Ann, she's very pretty. All right, let's go ahead and add this in here. Get our mountains to go on. All right. We're starting to have some great definition going on here. Hey, you know who else is very pretty? I've got this amazing girlfriend named Krista. Krista is spectacular. She is probably the kindest, most amazing girl I know. And she's also a retired pyrotechnics engineer, so I don't make her mad because she knows how to blow shit up. And we'll add just a little bit right there. Yeah, that's nice. We've got some nice clouds going on. Or not clouds, we've got some clouds. My mind's on clouds all the time, guys. Okay, let's go ahead and add this in right here. Okay, this is looking nice. I'm happy with the way that this is forming in front of us. You have to be very, very soft with a brush like this because it'll bend on you easily. And you have to learn how to do this feathering approach to everything. Okay, we got some nice mountains there, some nice mountains here. They're, of course, a little bit different for each one. And now we can start working on the exciting stuff down here. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to make the rock formations come alive. All right, let's see. Okay, sorry, flocks of my iPad spell check is off. La La Land doesn't help. Is your board vertical, flat, or angled as you're painting? It's just a very slight angle, just like about that much, and that's it, Ruthann. Okay, so we need to mix up a specific color for some depth here, and we need a lot of it. So give me a second while I get it mixed properly. Okay, now we will start over on this side, and we will start picking out the different parts and elements of our rock formations. And the rock formations are looking great. Okay. And this is going to be layer on layer on layer to make it work just right. This is just the first layer of picking out the rock formations, guys. There's many, many layers and ways that it comes through. People have asked me, do I plan each one of the brush strokes? Not even close. My method of painting is so slapdash. I just go with whatever feels right at the moment as I am creating the painting. I've been doing it for 30 plus years, so for me, it's just something that I do. I don't really think about it. Let's do that so that this kind of, that's going to be in the background there, which means we need to bring this over here a little bit more. There, all right. We're starting to get some formation of rock. I like it. And right through here. Let's see, we've got 7 people that are on there. All right, nice. Now, all 7 people probably already know about my card game and my novels, but in case you are just new and joining us, go take a look at buymynovels.com. My name is Sean Nathan Ricks. I am the creator of the iMagi Kingdom of Thor card game. I am the author of iMagi and the Man Who Would Be Time, the Man Before Time, the Man Who Would Be Time. And I am working on, today I even wrote a few more chapters on iMystic. That's coming out in November, guys. Probably right around for Black Friday. So start saving up your money and getting ready to buy that novel along with all the other ones. All right. Anybody who's read the novels, sound off. Okay, let's get a bit more Simone and Ruby. Sean was holding out on us about his girlfriend. Simone and Ruby kind of know about my girlfriend. She was giving me a really hard time at the convention. She was not the ex-girlfriend who flew all the way from Salt Lake to mess with me. That's a completely different story. No, I'm going for sainthood. I'm dating a girl who has a condition called Addison's. And she is the sweetest gal on the face of the planet, but occasionally all of her adrenaline will dump all at once. And if all of your adrenaline dumped all at once, you would be a very mean person. Except for Blaine. Blaine's one of the nicest guys on the face of the planet. He's never hurt anybody. And if he has, he's not going to tell anybody. We don't record that stuff. We're Gen X. We keep it to ourselves. By the way, Emily, are you upset that I have a girlfriend? That dream of you, me, and Shad running off together into the sunset. Now it's all broken up. So sad. He's going to listen to this, and Shad's going to laugh like crazy. Okay, we need to grab a little bit of green, so hang tight with me, guys. We've got some of the rock formation going on. Now we need to work on some of the land mass. It's under the car mounts all the time. Magma Funhouse. Yeah. Working on iMagi. I can't wait to get my painting and the second book. Thank you, Renee. I'm excited to be able to present you guys with those books and give you the chance to read things that I created out of the deep, dark recesses of my twisted little mind. Let's see. I've already got sap green in my hand. I don't need a sap green. Where's the color I'm looking for? Hey, you know what, Simone? You need to stop coming into my studio and messing up all of my green colors. That's right. I'm blaming Simone. Okay. Hang tight with us, guys. We got to get the green on the palette so that we can play with it. And then we got to mix some of it. So bear with me. We're getting there. All right. We've got a green color to start going with. It's an unusual green color. I like it because it's unusual. It's going to give us kind of a dark, woody feel to everything. A woody feel, not a buzz feel. We don't get all of it. It's not like we're Toy Story. Can I get in trouble for saying Toy Story in one of these things? Will the mouse come after? Wait, who made Toy Story? Was that Disney? The mouse comes after everybody. Disney's kind of evil when it comes to artists. They will do everything they can to try and tear you down if you are trespassing on their intellectual property. Now, it may not look like there's green there, but there is. Okay, we're starting to get, oh, golly, I'm not even showing you guys where I'm painting. I'm right up here in the corner. Okay. What's the problem with not having a professional rig for all this? Why, he's going to find that funny, but you'll have to fight Simone for the second husband spot. Simone, you're going to leave me alone? That's all right, I've got Ruby. Ruby, we're running off into the sunset together. Okay, we're going to bring a lighter color across here. Okay, all right, that looks pretty good. Now we need to put it across this island here. So, Got to get our foundation in for this one as well. Let's pull on some of that. There we go. I would like to note that not once during this painting have I drank my painting water. I'm going to call that a personal accomplishment. Drinking your mixing water. In fact, Simone, I'd like to hear a tale about drinking mixing water. Do you have one of those to share with the class? That's right. We're going to call you guys the class. We've all got class, except for communism. Communism has no class. And that's called a joke. Okay. I've got so much paint on my hands right now. Okay. Let's pull that up into the mountains just a little bit. All right. We'll bring some black underneath that in a minute to make it look a little bit better. But right now we've got some land mass going on. Now it's time to work on this one down here. You got to just kind of brace against your canvas and pull to get some of those really light lines. Pull that up into the mountains, get a little green going on with them. And pull this from back here and forward. Okay, now let's add our lighter colors to the different spots on that as well. Okay, what kind of comments do we have? Now, we may need more comments in the thing for me to talk about, guys, because I'm starting to wear out a little bit and get a little tired. How long have we been at this? 93 minutes? I always try to finish these things up in about a 2-hour period of time. That way I can have 2 paintings done in 2 hours. Of course, it took 2 hours and what, 30 plus years to get here. Okay, now let's get our lighter green going on again. Okay. Pick out the areas that we have some highlights on. All right. Okay, we've got landmass, but what about those trees? Those trees are all alone up there, guys. How can we leave those trees all alone? They don't have any kind of color on them. Let's add some color to the trees. We got to mix up a different type of color for that. We can't go with the same one. And of course, to begin with, you've got to have a dark aspect to it because we're going to go from shadow to light. We still only have 3 trees. Guys, I almost forgot, 4 trees. I almost forgot the other tree. Let's get that added real quick. It's got to be an odd number of trees. Has to be. And this tree is going to come in here. Oh, and we need the shadow from these trees to come across. And that's got to come up underneath it. That's going to work just nicely. Okay. Okay, now we can add the light to our trees. And then we got to come in with some more black. Let's add color to our trees now. Just going to pick a little bit of detail along the forward edge where all of the light's hitting. Okay, get a little bit more on this one. One of these trees is going to be too wet for us to work on, though, because we forgot to put it in at time. It's all right. We'll move on to some of the other stuff that we need to work on in order to get it done. Okay. We almost worked on that tree that we can't work on yet. You know what? I'm going to give it a shot. It's mixing a little bit, but it's going to work. Okay. And then this tree here. Okay. I hope Tyler's watching so he can see what painting's going to go inside his dental office. Okay, now the trees can be left alone for a minute. Now that we remembered it. You've got to come underneath the landmass and give it a bit of shadow still. So it's got to have some shadow that separates it from the landmass. And that shadow is important because, again, it's going to add that extra quality of depth that we're looking for. And you've got to be really careful so you don't overpower any of the green that you've put in. Okay, we got to get some of these over here. Oh, hey, guess what? It's my cousin Farah's birthday. Farah, if you're watching, this is a shout out to you. I need to paint Farah a painting. She only has one of my paintings. I need to paint something for my Aunt Jean, too. She's been begging me to paint her something for a while. I've been a bad nephew. Okay. And again, you're trying to get that separation because there's a shadow underneath it. All right, now that looks nice, but what about more depth down here? Well, that's where we come in with a little bit more of a vibrant color. And we're going to add to the forefront of the rock formations. We want to go with where the light is hitting. And it's got to be more vibrant than the undercoat layer that we put on there. You have to, when you're doing a live painting and you can't pull out your hair dryer to dry the stuff faster, you have to be able to jump around a lot and move to the different aspects of the painting. Now, any of you guys that have ADHD, that's going to be nice and easy. You just have to remember to finish the stuff, though. Okay. Oh, yeah. Definition for sure, man. Now, let's see. Let's make sure we get this over here. Ooh, we had a big glob of paint on there. Can't have that. Let's see, how are we doing on time? We're at 100 minutes. Are we going to be able to finish up within the 2-hour time frame that I arbitrarily put on myself? Okay, that should have given enough time for the trees to dry, because now we can jump up to the trees, give ourselves a lighter color, start picking out a little bit more highlights on the trees. You want this paint, when you're doing this, to be really kind of inky. We're leaving little drops in places from our finger. All right, we're getting it done here. Any kind of comments in there? Paint on it. Okay. Paint on the tree. Simone's kind of, oh, sorry, you guys weren't watching the trees I was putting in over there. Here we go. I keep on forgetting where everything's at. Okay, and then these two trees over here. The very short one, which we're calling Simone. Okay, the trees have got everything that they need on them. Let's start working on a few more areas that we really need to get some things going on. We're going to mix some even lighter forefront color for our rock formations. Just going to add that one more layer of fun to things. And this time I'm going to make sure that we're in the right spot. All right. Start to see how we get that coming forth, huh, guys? Just that vibrancy really adds to our depth. Some young artists will have problems with understanding that you need to have a lot of contrast. So if you're a brand new artist, especially if you're like 6, 7, 12, somewhere in there, I want you to understand contrast. What contrast is when you have some brilliant lights and some darks. You should look the word up. You have these things called supercomputers in your hands, these phones. Look up the word contrast if you're a very young new artist, and I want you to understand what it means. If you don't have any idea what you're reading or what it really means, go and ask an adult. Ask somebody who's going to encourage you to paint, because painting is just so much fun. You really should be painting. And if you are a young artist and you're listening, we want you to shout something out in the comments. If you're an old artist and you're listening, we want you to shout out in the comments. We've got 8 people watching. If this was real, this would collapse. Hey, Derpy Burger, we don't care. If this was real, this is my world. I made it. I'm the one that makes up gravity here. Got it? My world. You know what? My entire world, which is in my world, is called the iMagi Kingdom of Thor card game, and the iMagi and the iMystic and the Island Hopper novels. It's okay. It's going to float because I make up gravity in this place. We don't have a guy named Isaac Newton in this area. What a weird comment to make on floating islands. It's fantasy. All right, I'm not really mad at you. Sean's gravity didn't have Isaac. Sean for no map. That's that. Okay, Derpy Burger must absolutely know who I am. If they do, then they might be somebody that I know. Derpy Burger, do I know who you are? Okay, that looks pretty good. We're not quite done here. Okay, let's look at what it is we want to do. No, I'm new to the stream. I just read your 19. Okay. Fair enough. All right. The funny comment. All right. We're going to add just one more aspect to our trees. And it's going to be something that adds just that much more to the highlights through the trees. So that's not enough. I need to get a little bit of white in there. If it doesn't end up opaque enough, then add white and that'll bring it forward for you. Here we go. All right, now we're good. Hey, anybody who hasn't already started following, follow, like, take a look at my website, buymynovels.com. Take a look at the iMagi Kingdom of Thor card game that I created. Take a look at the iMagi novel and the, well, the Island Hopper novels are not out yet. Those are things that I'm working on. And The Man Who Would Be Time. Take a look at that novel. Let's come on over here. Okay. I like that. Now, we're going to add just a little bit of highlight in just certain spots on our islands. Just enough to really make them jump up. All right. A little bit here. All right. Hey, Derpy Burger, I wouldn't throw any more insults around. I have a fairly rabid fan base because they're not fans, they're all friends. Most of them would hide bodies for me. I mean, they don't have to because I can hide the bodies myself, but. Right. That looks pretty good the way we've got all of that. I'm not doing insults though. Okay, good. Good deal. All right. Let's see here. Let's add a little bit more just to the mountains. Okay. Okay, and then let's get these mountains picked out a little bit more highlights. All right. We're looking pretty good. We're at 108 minutes. We're getting right down to the wire of the 2 hours that I put for myself. Let's add the last things that I want to do, which are the separations on the striations of the rock. All right. All right. We're getting down to the wire. We're getting things done though. Okay. And then just these last little bits. I was ready for attack mode. Thank you, Emily. All right. That's got to be given a little bit there. Okay. All right, guys. We're ready to put signatures on. We're at 110 minutes. We've just got to mix up our signature. Got to get the stuff just right for that, which takes a little bit. You got to get your paint to the right consistency of inkiness in order to have a signature. And you have to decide, mostly it's going to be white, but I've got a little bit of cloud blue that I've got mixed in here. So let's get it all working just right. Okay, signatures will go on here in just 1 second. All right. I think we're ready for the signature on the first one right here. I have to head off. Have a good night and keep up the wonderful work. Magma Funhouse, thank you very much. Ruth Ann, thank you for watching. You bet. And Ruth Ann, you know you can always order prints from me. You know how to find me. Signatures are always one of those things where you have to kind of breathe or hold your breath. You got to take just the right amount of time on your signature too. Don't rush it. And then we put in the year, and then we will sign the other one. Made in the year of 2026. There's one signature. Let's get the other one. Looks like a climbing island. I hope the people that this is going to be so hard to get to this one. Okay. I always feel like the signature on the far one ends up being worse than the signature on the front one. All right. We're a little bit too dry to finish that up in one. Let's go back to it. And you guys know that all of these will end up being in the card game and different cards in the card game. I have not yet announced the expansion packs for the Spite and Malice paintings, but I will. And as always, when we're done, the thunder is like crack. Well, that's weird. Okay. Everybody who sticks around to the end, you guys know you get a tour of the studio. So before we jump into that, Derpy Burger, if you're still here, you get an opportunity to tour the studio as well. So let's do it. Again, the painting that was recovered that was stolen that I still need to get to the owners who had originally had it. All of the other floating islands, including the two that I painted last night, the mountain of floating islands in there. The two characters from the novel that are not yet finished. We've got right there, we have Garn and Bjorn, the two main characters from iMagi, the novel. A couple of extra paintings going on here. A couple of other characters from the novel. And then some giant paintings of the Tetons. And of course, all the many books that I have. Part of the weapons wall, the other part of the weapons wall, another painting, another bookshelf, and then the other weapons wall. In fact, this one right here, I just picked this one up. This is a great new kukri. So this one, that's a fantastic blade. It's got a great balance to it. It's got a great forward motion. So, all right, that's it, guys. Thanks for joining.